I was praying. I was shutting in. I was fasting. I was doing everything I can because I wanted my mother here. But I couldn't give up. And when the Lord said that it's time for her to go. See, that's the hardest thing that we have to do, is to accept God's will. And I know accepting God's will is not easy. And trust me, when you accept God's will, it doesn't stop the tears from flowing. And when it came to my husband, I had to stand and trust God, regardless, until He gave me the peace, until He released me from praying over His healing. So you can't sit here and say, well, I'm really not going to trust God. I'm really not going to believe, because there's so many others that I have prayed and it seemed like the will of God was something else. But you don't know the will of God unless you walk in the spirit of discernment. So therefore you have to continue to stand firm and keep believing and keep trusting. Because I'm here to tell you, there was a sister that they said that she was going to die when we was young. And she never died. She did not die until many years later. So you can't say, because every time she was knocking and death was right at the door, it wasn't for her to go. She didn't leave. So you can't say that I'm not going to pray and I'm not going to trust and I'm just going to be mediocre in my prayer and stand on God's word, because I'm not for sure what God's going to do. I don't know that I am in the uncertainties and I'm not sure what God's going to do. So therefore, I'm really not going to trust. I'm really not going to believe. I'm not going to really stand, because see, I don't want to get hurt. You're not going to get hurt. You're not going to get hurt. God's going to chill you. And He's going to allow you to accept whatever His will is. And just because you accept His will doesn't mean that you're not going to cry. It doesn't mean that you're not going to grieve. It doesn't mean that you're not going to miss your loved one. It doesn't mean that you on the next time that you need to pray for somebody. It doesn't mean that you're going to be to the point to where you're going to be fearful in praying. Because see, God is He's not going to allow you to do that. Because you know why? Because you are so important to Him. That He understands that sometimes that we just don't care for His will. We sometimes we don't agree. But God is not asking us to agree to Him. He's saying that in the moments when you don't understand my plan and my will, I am here to help you. I am here to cultivate you. I am here to let you know that I am not going to leave you just because. Because see, I know later down the line or later down the road, you're going to understand what was I doing in that season. So I'm not gonna leave you and walk away just because you don't understand the season that you're in.